So this is the video showcasing our HP Latex R1000. First thing we're going to do is rip the file we want to print. So we're going to go to Open. We're going to click on Example, which is saved as a PDF. Open again. Then we're going to right-click this and open it in our job editor once it finishes loading. And we're printing this on white acrylic. So we're going to go to plastic solid. In this case, we're going to choose generic plastic solid because acrylic is not set up in our printer as a profile. So we're just going to hit yes. Then before we hit apply, we're going to go to how high we want to set our DPI. In this case, we're just going to say 600 DPI high quality. We're going to hit apply. And as far as preview and size, we're going to leave this exactly the way this is because this is going to be pre-printing horizontally. So next thing we're going to do is go to print. We're going to hit submit. Okay, so that just finished ripping. The next thing we're going to do is go to our current media and page size to make sure everything matches. See plastic solid. We're going to go to generic plastic solid again. So our size, which is basically just the size of our media, this matches 38 3/4 by 18 3/4, matches exactly the size of the sheet we're printing on. So we're just going to hit OK. We're going to hit OK again. Then we're going to hit print now, and I'm going to take you over to our actual printer. Let's see here. I'll wake the screen up. Okay, and the file we just ripped is right here, example 1. And that's all set up correctly. It's the same print mode, same amount of colors. And just to prove that this is current, there is the date and time. So the next thing we're going to do is load our piece of media. So we're going to go in here. It's not a tabletop roll, it's a sheet. Generic paper. We're going to go to plastic solid. Set that as generic plastic solid. Then tell it how big our piece of media is. So 38 3/4 by 18 3/4. We're going to hit OK. Then I'm going to take you to the other side and we're going to load it. So there's our piece of media. Next thing we're going to do is hit load. And the vacuum is going to cut on. Bar is going to come down. It's going to pull our piece of media forward. So the next thing we're going to do is move this over to the guiding bar on the left. So that's all lined up. Next thing we're going to do is hit feed. And it's going to take in our media, and it's going to automatically measure how thick that media is and how wide that media is. Go back over here. It's going to say in progress. Substrate edges cannot be detected. It's because our media is very, very light. So the scanner has a hard time seeing it. It's a common problem with a lot of latex runners. So in this case, we're going to hit continue. Okay, so back again. So it says our media is 38 3/4 by 18 3/4. Couldn't automatically measure it because the media itself is too light to be detected by the scanner. So we're going to have to input it manually. In this case, we went back and remeasured it, so it's going to actually be 38.5 by 18.5. And the thickness is fine because that part it actually detects when the scan bar comes down and briefly taps the media. It's actually measuring how thick it is. In this case, if the edge of your media can't be detected, you set this as -0.05. You just hit OK. Hit apply. Then what we're going to do is take our media, our example 1 over here, and drag it over. In this case, we're going to do full weight so that it prints directly to the edges of the material. And then we're going to go ahead and hit print. Let me take you over here. So it's going to run through its various cycles, essentially. And now it's essentially going to start feeding the print through the oven. It's going to cure the ink. Okay, and there is our finished print.